In the 1990s, we all danced at the weddings of Stu, Cliff, and Larry, and from 1995 through 2005, Sandy and I were blessed with the birth of 11 grandchildren. Sandy has devoted her entire life to charitable causes. For 4 summers, she hosted a Fresh Air Fund in our home and spent a summer in Israel in the Israeli army. She was an officer and board member at Temple Beth Sholem, president of its PTA, and from 1981 to 1991 published the Temple Bulletin. In 1991, she initiated the Fresh Meadow Monthly Bulletin and has published it for 23 consecutive years. She served as president of Women's American Art, and for the past 5 years has chaired and published the Babe Zaharis Cancer Research Journal at Fresh Meadow, which this year raised almost $100,000. In addition to all of her charitable work, Sandy has held a job as our full-time bookkeeper for the last 25 years. She has been the absolute strength of our marriage. Her energy, her stamina. She's up at 5:30 every morning at the computer until 6:15 in the office by 7:30. She still finds time to play bridge and canasta 3 times a week, and reads a book every 10 days and sees a Broadway show at least once a month. Her greatest joy is taking her grandchildren on trips, shopping, and going to the theater. In fact, in the last 30 days, she took Sabrina to see Matilda, Jacob to see Cabaret, Carly to see Wicked, Max to see Phantom of the Opera, and this past Saturday she took Noah to see The Pianist. I've seen 2 shows in the past year. Our travelogue includes climbing to the top of St. Peter's in Rome with Max, climbing to the top of St. Paul's Cathedral in London with Jacob, and climbing halfway up the Eiffel Tower in Paris with Noah. I was relegated to taking pictures at ground level. It seems that Sandy has gainfully utilized every moment of her 75 years that God has given her. She has been the most devoted, wonderful wife, the most supportive and loving mother to her 3 sons and daughter-in-laws, and absolutely the greatest grandmother to her 11 grandchildren. I wanted to relate a story and conclude with a story, a little bit of a history story. I picked up the theme from my grandson, Jacob, who was in Morocco a year ago, and he was telling me a story about a family that passed a key to a synagogue that was abandoned over 100 years ago, generation to generation, so that it could be preserved for future Jews to visit and see what the synagogue was. A similar story occurred in 1914 when my grandfather, Phyllis's father, proposed to my grandmother, Phyllis's mother obviously, and at the proposal, they both lived in the Bronx. They gave, Samuel gave Lena a beautiful diamond engagement ring. And my grandmother wore that ring until 1936, when my mother was being proposed to by my father, who had just come through the Depression with no money. So my grandmother took the ring off her finger, gave it to my father so that he could propose to my mother. My mother wore that ring until 1962. And in 1962, I wanted to propose to Sandy. I was going to law school at night, working during the day, and had about as much money as my father had in 1936. So my mother took the ring off her finger, gave it to me, and then I proposed to Sandy. We flash forward to 1992 Beacon Theater on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Stuart was going to Columbia University, getting his MBA, and he had about as much money then as I did then. So back in 1962 and 36. So Sandy took the ring off her finger, gave it to Stuart, and he proposed to Danielle. We are now 100 years later, and Danielle still has the ring on her finger for the last 22 years. Anyway, Sandy, we're all here to share in your Diamond Jubilee and as an expression of my love for you these past 55 years, I felt it was appropriate to present you with a special gift which is 22 years overdue. It took 22 years, but she finally has her ring back. It's never too late to say, from the Song of Songs, I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. God bless you, I love you. Enjoy the party, everybody.